April 17th, 2025 meeting of the Fire Service Advisory Commission. First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes for February and March regular meetings. Everybody has a chance to look over that.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Radio Communications Committee, Terry's not here.
I don't know if we've had one this month. I did get to chime in on, I think the one at the end of March. And, it did sound like they're getting close to getting their patches put together and the program on where they want it. Sound like they're doing a lot of work on it. I did ask at the end of it, would it be possible to start attending, at least the chiefs meetings to kind of let the chiefs know what kind of work's going on to kind of straighten the radio system out here in the county. But other than that, like I said, they're still in the weeds on the technical programming, how to do this, how to do that. So, but as far as I know, that's what I got out of it.
More discussion.
Sir?
Any more discussion on the radio?
I mean, is there anything I need to take back to Aaron, or anything from any other districts that need to be,
Just hurry up.
well, he and I are talking. I had a situation in our district. Chief Swift familiar with it. And I've communicated with Aaron, and we're gonna get together where I literally had to stop and call them on the phone. They can't hear me on any of our radios.
At times I can hear you, at times I can know that you're talking, the distance we're apart on handheld.
And I know in my area, hearing all of y'all typically is not a problem, but in that there's a little area down there that the land of the lost. So we're working on that, but,
If any of your stations have areas that, like your area where you've identified that you can't talk, we need to know that so that Aaron and them can focus on that to see what's causing that. Is the repeater not pointing in the right direction or?
yeah, what we done at Crossroads is I've asked them if they go out, we got a whiteboard in the bay. If they go out and they have problems, to come back and make a note, and I mean, it's a list that I can make with them and show them, so.
It's the same with the digital channels as well?
Yes, sir, that's, like I said, that area down there, Fire One, Digital One, Digital Two, just nothing. And actually showed up the other day in the area that we normally had our problems, like on Highway 24. Typically it's pretty good, but, it did.
Last part of 24, the first part of 25, they had a site at Oakway that was down, that had some issues, but that's back up now, so.
Well, I understand that one's up and the Fairplay is up. So I don't know, they're up and it's gotten worse. I don't know what the deal is with that, but if anyway.
Okay, yeah, just helping us identify those areas will help, focus on, getting them focused and see what's going on in that zone.
All the discussion on
Yes, sir.
radio communication. Director Trine's not here tonight. Chief Smith.
Two things is, all I've got, first off is physicals. I sent all the, department chiefs a letter from Ms. Brock stating that, any physicals that were not current and or, responders with a level 4 physical that continued to respond would no longer be covered under workers' comp come July 1st. So, I've sent that notice to the chiefs, and, over the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna try to send the email to the individual members so that they know. We've got members on rosters that hadn't had physicals since 2017, 18. They may not be participating, but they're still on rosters. So, and we still pay workers' comp on all those people that are on rosters. So, so you gotta have a current, valid physical. And if you are a level 4, that's fine, you just don't need to be responding to emergency scenes. But if you do, then we're not gonna cover you under workers' comp.
That's just on scenes though, right? I mean, if you've got that level 4 admins at the fire department.
That's right, that's
Slips on a wet floor doing
That's right.
admin stuff.
That's right,
He's
absolutely.
still, or she's still good.
Absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Absolutely, absolutely. We had volunteers who, on the form, it was stated that, was not clear, must go to cardiologist, and was still responding to calls and would not go to the cardiologist. So, I mean, the counties, allow on a big risk there and has that liability, so, anyway. But I've sent that to the department chiefs, and then I'm gonna send it out to the members that have long expired physicals and those that have level 4 physicals, just so they know they don't need to be responding. So, the other thing I got is LZ updates. We have a lot of, LZs throughout the county, and the ones we have now is nowhere near the number that originally was identified 15 years ago when we started this. But some of them are not usable anymore. So GIS has, we've had discussion with them, and he said, we really need to go out and identify if these things are still good, still viable, usable. And if not, then maybe take those off of mapping and just identify the ones that we need to use. So I'm getting a list of the LZs, and so I'm gonna be working on that over the next several months. And I'll try to get with each department as I'm looking in your area to let you know that, hey, this one is not usable anymore, or this one's not usable anymore, but I'm gonna go visibly look at every LZ in the county. So it'll take me some time, and there may be other areas, if one's not usable, maybe we can identify another area somewhere in that vicinity that we can identify as a landing zone and just update that on the map so that we got a good LZ map. So, but it'll take me some time, but I'm gonna start on that, hopefully, in the next few weeks.
I know the problem you're gonna run into is like, December, that LZ's good.
Yeah.
Hay season, that LZ's bad.
That's right.
I mean, it's
That's
just
right.
gonna be a seasonal thing.
That's right, that's right.
So,
So, but that's the only two things that I have.
We'll get ours changed to 24 instead of 6 and 9.
Yeah. It'll be identified by proper district.
The people that haven't been here, new members, it's confusing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's confusing to eat the prison.
Yep.
Well, same thing going on with the Bodyland station. I think they still using 11 numbers.
So we renumbered the 21 LZs, and GIS sent those to dispatch, but for some reason they didn't get loaded up into the CAD system. So he was, we talked about it maybe 3 weeks ago. He was gonna hand deliver them over there to make sure they got uploaded, but we did go in and change a couple of 11s and a couple of 7s, and maybe even one of 16s to a 21 number so that it made sense to EMS as well.
Again, we have the same trouble with hay season, it wastes time. Winter time is good to use.
Yeah.
I know Mountain Rest had a call the other day, they changed the LZ, I think, 4 different times.
Right.
Depending on who was on scene.
Right. Well, that's, we have a plethora of LZs on a map, but if they're really not usable, we need to clean that up. So we're gonna start working on that.
They need to be usable year round.
That's right. So, I mean, and sometimes push comes to shove, you just set it down the road, as long as you got room to do that, and ain't no power lines. You just make do at the scene, but, so anyway, I'm gonna start working on that. It'll take me some time to update it, and I'll be getting with each of your departments as I'm working in your area, so. That's my report.
All right, so fire commissioner updates, Region 1.
The only thing I got, Chief Stanley Brower, Long Creek, had surgery Monday. I haven't got a report on him. I know he had surgery and he's recovered. And also Matt Smith, who was with us at 24 and at 6, he had surgery this morning and everything went well
Good.
on his shoulder. That's all I've got.
Region 2, I kinda go back to the radio thing. Search and rescue they have on the mountain Seems like I can hear every word they say on it. I don't know if Rescue's got, do they have a channel besides the fire channel?
So the search and rescues have been utilizing Digital One for the last few that we've had. So, that's why you can hear that really well.
Stuff picks up real good. I said, well, I didn't know if they had a digital channel for rescue or.
No, they've just been going to Digital One.
I know, what was it, 3 nights ago, they had the rescue on the 13-year-old kid. I could hear them playing today, and I was at home and down at the station too, while all that was going on.
So, and they have, set up a relay person on a ridge so that they can talk to the people down in the hollers. So you can't hear those people, but the relay person could hear it. Alan White was that person the other night. I think Mike may have been on one we had a couple weeks ago. So, while it may not reach in the hole, we've set people up on the ridge so that they can talk and relay back to command. But you're right, we are hearing that digital channel really well. So the hope was eventually that we have several other digital channels and you're dispatched on fire and assigned one of those channels, and that's where you go and stay. Bannerland's been doing it for over a year now, and it's working well for them. I utilize Digital One for the woods fire we had up at Village Creek. It worked well, so it frees up that fire channel for dispatch.
Just traffic off of it.
Yeah.
Like Walhalla City, I don't know what their support channel is, digital or whatever, but I've listened to them test hydrants all week long.
Yep, that's a digital channel.
So it's coming through
Yep. It's a
over
digital.
my house.
Yeah,
Works pretty good.
yep.
That's all I've got. Region 3,
I don't have anything.
Region 4.
What I've got is, I'm gonna get with, the chiefs are gonna get together to discuss the, accountability boards, to kinda get on the same sheet of music, kinda, maybe my idea is not for everybody, but, trying to put our heads together and find out what we uniformly can do to better utilize, or to start utilizing, basically, these boards. So we're gonna try to do that here in the near future. And then, well, I kinda covered a while ago that, definitely let us know if there's some radio issues, because I'm gonna meet with Aaron and discuss, show him my list and write them around and our apparatuses, and let him try to communicate with dispatch and let him see, let him hear. I don't know how they do it. Do they have like a little machine that go out there and it picks up a signal, the signal strength or something?
They should. I don't know if that's
I
exactly.
mean, I
what they have.
prefer them get in the truck and call dispatch on Digital One, and when they can't hear them, I don't care what the monitor's saying,
That's right.
the radio
That's
stops
right.
working.
That's right.
So, maybe it's an antenna issue, I don't know, but we're doing that there, so please, before somebody actually gets hurt somewhere, cause I'm like y'all. I mean, you hear what's going on in the mountain, like they're sitting in when we went and got our new brush truck, Don and I took the Tahoe, and we were next to, not far from Atlanta, a mile of Georgia, whatever it is over there. And we're hearing communication on the radio here in Walhalla and around Walhalla.
So last Wednesday, me and Chief Hollifield was traveling to Indianapolis for FDIC and was going up the hill to Newfound Gap and heard dispatch toning like
Yeah.
we were sitting here in the
Yeah,
county.
I mean, so there's something going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully work on it, but, other than that, that's all I got.
Region 5's not here tonight. Any more discussion on anything else?
Just, the boards, we're gonna try first in, set the board up and, have one person manage it. Just put the ICS commander and, whatever, as long as the person running the board can understand what he's putting on the board.
So initially, last year, when we did set the instant command training as a part of the incentive, we were hoping those boards will be here so that we could have a training on that. So now, Honeycutt can kind of develop some training on the utilization of those boards. Now that they're finally in, everybody's, I think Chief Hollifield's finally got them out to all the departments, so took him a little time because everybody wasn't at the chief's meeting to get those disseminated out, but now we can start having different training sessions to, because they're not gonna be any good if we don't use them.
That's right. And my suggestion, we try not to come up with a program that's written in stone.
Yeah.
You know, because like Bruce said, the way I wanna write it may not be exactly by the book or the way he would write it, but
That's
it's,
right. At the end of the day, as long as you're
Yeah.
accountable for everybody on that
That's right.
scene,
That's
that's
right.
the main thing.
That's right.
And you got something there in front of you, we got some tags they can give you, so that's the biggest thing, is making sure you can track everybody, on that scene.
And all the chief, you know, go to their people and say, look, put your ID tag on that board. That's participation in it is the biggest thing. But, you know, a lot of old school people still, you know, on freelance.
And if you've got people in your department that may not be interior, they can still function on that scene, may not wanna go. You can have a scribe or somebody that's got accountability there to be by the IC, just to kinda help track people. And as you're moving people around on the scene, they can move them around that board, you know. So, but if you don't have the luxury of having those kind of people, it's gonna fall on the IC or whoever's got it in front of them.
does your staff have, I mean, I don't say that's what I do, but the 21 numbers? Cause I've never really heard them use 21 numbers. It's always Oconee 2's on scene and command, da-da-da-da.
They do, we don't have 21 numbers anymore, because 21 is Bounty Land.
Okay,
So we do, it's a fire number, Oconee Fire,
okay,
and it depends on their position, like captains may be 30-something numbers, engineers may be 40-something numbers, and firefighters may be 50-something numbers. So Oconee Fire 58 may be a firefighter.
Okay.
But they have individualized numbers, but when they go on a scene as Oconee Oconee 3, that's the squad, and then they establish a location command, they don't really need to.
well, and the reason I was asking, like, if they come to assist, keeping up with everybody, name-wise, I mean, even my neighboring stations, I don't know how y'all are, you know, hey, what's your number? Yeah, is it?
But their number's
fire?
not gonna be on their ID card, so they're gonna hand you an ID
I
card.
don't care, what's your number? I know that you using your thing, Fire 57
Yeah,
was on my scene.
right.
And you know who 557 is, I don't, I mean,
Right.
I just know 57 he ain't answering up.
That's right.
You know, instead of trying to keep up with, you know, Greenwald or, you know, Williams.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion, just to, you know, cause I mean, that's what I'm gonna try to get our people to do, hey, you know, 2417's on my scene, I don't need to know 2417 yet, cause if I can't find them, I'm gonna go to 24 member and say, hey, who's 17? Well, they're in here and I can't find them,
That's right.
instead of trying to keep up with superscalifragilistic expialidocious, cause I don't know how to spell that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, who makes the tags now?
So, Hollifield can make a tag, and then, Mike and Aaron are making the ones for rescue. But Hollifield making them for fire.
A lot of our guys the other night, we were going over the boards and training with them a little bit. Put them, don't know where their tags are, or the ID card.
If they've not filled those ID sheets out,
Is it
they
that
ain't got
you
no
need to fill out a new ID sheet and get it to Hollifield.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Did.
Yep.
Well, that's what I thought. Stephen Zahn told me that you couldn't get a new card till you get a physical.
Yep, and you gotta have that sheet.
I think
Is
this,
that sheet in ERS, or can you email it to us, or where do we get the sheet?
I don't know for sure, but I would imagine Hollifield probably emailed your chiefs.
Okay.
the suggestion was made to me, cause I got a few made, was if their physical's up in June, don't get them a new card. Just play with what you got right now. But if your physical's up in September, then go ahead and get them a card, because it's got their physical date on it, is what they're going by. So don't get a card that's gonna be valid for 3 weeks and then got to get a new card.
And the ones you talking about, the admin,
it's just a different color. Well, if they level 4, they're not coming to a scene anyway. Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. Yep, yep.
Figured out who's got what. We started kinda thinning our roster out on the ones you talking about that don't have physical for 4 or 5 years. Ain't showed up for nothing. But we working on that right now. Hopefully get down to 8 or 10.
Right.
That's all I got again.
Real quick, what's the, any update on the ERS replacement software rollout?
Yes, we're getting closer. They've worked through most of the data transfer over. They just did another update, last week. So we got that uploaded. So we've extended our ERS out through June, just to give us time. Because once it's set, then we gotta come around and train all the departments on the usage. So probably gonna have one big meeting, and then if we need to come to individual departments, we will. But we're gonna cover how to properly do an IFRS report, and then the system as well. I think you'll find the system very user-friendly, very simple to use. But we're gonna roll out that training, before we go live. But I don't have a date yet, so.
Okay.
Good.
Get about it.
I make a motion with adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?